Hello, my name is Navigator, and in today's quick video, because I'm not really feeling too great, we're going to be going over my Buffalo haul from this weekend. It was quite the weekend. I only went out for 2 days because there's a massive winter storm, so I actually had to leave early and come back a day early, and so I didn't get to go to the full rounds, but I got to hit up that 80s toy shop and a couple other places, and we'll talk about that as we go through it. So, what I want to do is start off with all the comics that I have here, and then we'll move on to the figures. And I do apologize if I'm coughing or sniffling. I'm gonna get that one out of the way just in case. But let's get into this. So, on Friday night, I traveled out to Niagara Falls, New York to go to ESW's Wrestlers. It was on January 23rd, 2026. And one of the reasons I went is because Joey Janela was a featured wrestler there. I've never seen Joey Janela wrestle. I've never met him. And now I can say that I have. I've both seen him wrestle and I have met him. So he was in the main event. It was originally supposed to be a one-on-one match, him versus Cheech, but it turned into a triple threat match, which was Cheech, Joey Janela, and Von Vertigo. And then it turned into a fatal four-way match with AEW's The Blade debuting. And we're going to talk about that in just a second. But we have Bad Boy Joey Janela. Thank you, Buffalo ESW. This is going to go to my 8x10 collection. As you guys know, I do have a little binder of those. And like I said, AEW's The Blade made his return to ESW and I guess to professional wrestling. It was awesome to see him. I've always been a big fan of him and the Butcher because they are from Buffalo. You guys know I'm not from Buffalo, but I'm out there, so often that I might as well claim it every once in a while. But here we have The Blade 1/23/26. I felt bad. He goes, I was thinking, I'm like, all right, I want to make sure that he has the date on there. So I remember when I saw him. And he goes, all right, what's the name? And I said, and I didn't not want my name on there, but I go, oh, no name, but can you put the date? And I felt bad. I didn't want to think I was trying to resell it or something, but I don't know. I just kind of minced my words there. But Blade signed 8x10 from when I met him, shook his hand, and Joey Janela 8x10 from when I met him and shook his hand. I actually do have a picture with Joey Janela too, but I don't really know if it's time to show my face on my YouTube channel just yet. He was really cool though. I want to get this in the way. I listened to Jim Cornette. Jim Cornette just straight up clowns on Joey Janela, and for the longest time, I thought he was kind of, I don't want to say dumb or stupid, but he didn't necessarily pick his spots the best when it came to wrestling. But after seeing him wrestle, I still kind of had the same opinion. I didn't really think that he was, the best in ring. I thought the moves were great, but it just really felt like he was trying to get too much attention from the audience. But the way I see it, you always got to separate the wrestler from the wrestling. And when I went to go meet Joey Janela, he was the nicest, the most soft-spoken, sweetheart guy I could have ever expected. He was so kind. Did the whole thank you thing when I left, and he was just very graceful, very nice. So I want to shout out Joey Janela for that. Guys, always separate the wrestling from the wrestler. I mean, what is it? The Brooklyn Brawler is probably a really nice guy in real life, but hell, on stage he looked like a greasy, dolt. So we'll leave it there, folks. But I have plenty of stories like that. All right, let's move on here. Just some other comic pickups that I grabbed from Ravenswood before I left for the weekend. Number one, we have Green Lantern Galactic Slam. DCK was kind of starting to set up for their AEW crossover, so I knew this is what I was going to want to have. And there's not really like a known wrestler, but some kind of amalgam wrestler that's in this comic. And I love Kyle Rayner. They're putting on the gloves. That's so cool. So we have that. And speaking of DC and AEW, we have the first of the variant covers from DCKO. This features Will Ospreay giving what looks like a spine breaker or a go to sleep to, Firestorm. That is awesome. I will be getting all of those AEW variant covers. Don't you worry. We also have issue 4 here of the Dynamite Supernatural series. I actually started to read this and I started to rewatch the show. I would highly recommend it. This is pretty much going over like little one-shot cases from when Sam and Dean were younger, just when the show was starting out. But like between, this is like before even like season 2, season 3 type stuff. So this is a great series to get into if you just want nice one-shot supernatural stories. We also have Absolute Batman Annual, number 1. I actually found out what an annual is recently. Sometimes certain years will have more weeks than others, and when that happens, they might have 2 releases instead of 1 a month for a certain comic. So what they do is the annual, it's kind of just like a one-shot separate story, and I thought that would be really cool. So pick that up as well. I also grabbed issue 1 of Junkyard Joe. I'm reading through Redcoat, and I'm going to be reading, Geiger or whatever Ghost Machine, which is like the Image Avengers, and Junkyard Joe, I believe, is one of the members there. Kind of like a GI robot almost. And then we also have 2 copies here of Comic Shop News. I don't really read them, I just collect them. pretty cool. But we do have that. All right, the last thing I want to go over here. This was one of my stops in Buffalo. I went by Dave's Hot Chicken. And as you guys know, before I had this YouTube channel, I had Navigator Plays. And I still upload on there every once in a while. I plan on going back on there and revamping my videos. But I'm a massive Fallout fan. And Dave's Hot Chicken did a collab with Amazon Prime and Fallout for the second season of the TV show. And what they released was this like saucy syringe or stim pack kind of thing. So here's what I got. The only Fallout stuff I could really keep was the box itself. I had to clean it up because it had some like chicken grease on there, but for the most part it's clean, and I'll just keep this in my, my literature binder. I don't think I've ever shown that on the channel, but the literature, the business cards, all the paid products that I show off here before I get into the figures, I have a whole place where I store that. So I have this and I'll be keeping that as well. But more importantly, we did get the stim pack. This thing is awesome. This is so cool. So the whole gimmick of it is you inject the sauce into here and then you can like pull it up and like drizzle the sauce on there at your own desire. But for the most part, this is like a one-to-one rendition of a stim pack. It's even got little like marks and weathering on it. It just looks amazing. And I recently made, just next to my sharp shelf here, it's kind of blocked up because of the vault, but that's my little sharp shelf, and behind it, I have a little Fallout shelf as well. So that is where that stim pack is going to be going. And I don't want to take it out of this plastic packaging and decrease the value at all. So we'll keep it just like that. If I do a cosplay or something, I'll probably unbox it and, do something like that. But for now, I don't really see a need to take this out of the plastic packaging. So we do have that. The meal was $14, and the box and the stim pack alone, like what I just showed you, go for $25 on eBay. So I guess if I were to sell these, I would have already made $10 back, and this is becoming a chain reaction over here. I'm just going to lay the cameraman down. All right, let's get into the figures that we have here. I'm going to move these guys up to the front. We'll talk about them first. So, from my friend John Sig out in Rome, he's a fellow collector. I grabbed some stuff on the way back from Buffalo yesterday. That being the AEW Jazzwares Vault Swerve the Realist, or the Black Panther Swerve figure. This one, I don't think, I probably will do an unboxing of it. The only thing is he doesn't have his robe. That's kind of why I'm going back and forth on it, so I don't know. But John basically just took the robe from this figure and didn't need anything else. So, yeah, I have everything else. And I've always wanted this figure. This and the Predator Swerve, which hasn't, ever been made yet. But this and the Predator Swerve gear are probably the two gears that I want most from Jazzwares. So we do have that. Still deciding if I'm going to do an unboxing on that or not. And then next up here, again, I don't think I'm going to unbox this because I got it for a great price and it goes for a lot more. We have the SH Figuarts Guts Berserker Armor figure. Now, I have a knockoff Guts figure that's like all broken and beaten down. But I was at that 80s and I was like, you know what? I've always been a fan of Guts, always been a fan of Berserk, never had a great figure of him. And for $60, I thought it was great. The only thing is, this guy goes for like $90 to $100 on eBay, even sold, like recently sold. So, I don't know. Gonna have to do some deliberation on this guy, but absolutely phenomenal. Just one of those, at least for me, a key piece to have in the collection. One of my favorite mangas, favorite animes of all time, and I want to have this in the collection, whether in box or not. And we'll, of course, make that decision sometime down the line. But the other thing loose that I got from John Sig was from that new Piper's Pit 3-pack from Toys R Us. We got the Cowboy Bob Orton, along with a couple other accessories like his cowboy hat and that cool little WWF table. Really quick, let's take a look at that table. I think you guys might, it's a figure or whatever, but I want to see what this table looks like. I thought this would come in handy. This cool little WWF table. I love that. I think that's perfect, and I can't wait to see where I can get a use out of that from. And then I'm going to combine my other Legends Elite Bob Orton and turn that into like an ultimate cowboy Bob Orton. Not really, like an ultimate elite, I guess we could say. All right. Here is the rest of the loose figures that we grabbed from that 80s toy shop. And the first one I want to go over, guys, is the WWE Elite All-Stars CM Punk and Stone Cold. Now, they are loose, not in box, but this is probably the most elusive figure regarding CM Punk for me as an action figure completionist. It's not the most expensive. I think I already have the most expensive, but well, not in box, I should say. But this is just such an obscure one. It's a 2-pack of CM Punk and Stone Cold. He has that yellow pipe bomb gear on. So before Ringside released the, the Defining Moments one, you had to buy this figure and head swap him and then get the Stone Cold shirt from an old Stone Cold figure. So this is actually like a weird custom. But really quick, let's take these out of here. Take a brief look at them. Oh, there's a little Stone Cold hat in there, but we don't have to take a look at that. But here we have it. easily the most elusive CM Punk action figure, I would say, because you just don't find him out in the wild, really, sold separately too often, but this is just absolutely incredible. So I don't know if I'm going to keep Stone Cold, but I had to have that Punk. So we do have that. All right. And yeah, just another notch on my CM Punk completionist belt, I guess you could say. No pun intended there. Next up here for $10. I'm not a big fan of him, but I wanted to have a figure. Conor McGregor. It is the same one of that John Jones that I reviewed a long time ago on the channel, and now have in the back there with the rest of my backstage guys. But I figured I'd have another UFC guy back there, and I really do like these soft goods shorts they come with. I think that's a nice detail there, and it is Jazzwares, so why not? All right, another Jazzwares thing here, just because I think I might turn him into a custom bandito with those black little armbands there. We have an old Pac. It's got it for like $5-6. So that'll be a nice custom. He has some blank black gear as well. This was one of the more interesting items. I found this custom, and he's not broken or anything, just some of the accessories fell off. But this custom G.I. Joe classified Ghost from Call of Duty action figure is $30. Came with a ton of accessories, and this will kind of just be my little project for tonight. I'll mess around with him, but I have the Jazzwares Ghost over there with my G.I. Joe classified figures. I don't know if you can see him there. He's got that shawl next to Shipwreck, just to the, what would that be, the right of Shipwreck. But I think I'm going to swap that one out with this figure. And yeah, because it's more to scale, a lot more accessories. I think it's really cool. There's also some new weapons and stuff that he comes with. But a nice custom Call of Duty Call of Duty Ghost action figure. The last thing that I have here, just because I didn't know what it was and I thought it was really unique. We had this little zombified Cobra soldier. I thought this was so cool. Such a unique little G.I. Joe there. Barefoot, kind of the crazy hands. I just thought that was such a cool and unique looking figure. And for $3, why not? So folks, there you go. My Buffalo haul, and my clock's ticking here. Like I said, I'm not really feeling that great. So we're going to end it there. Once again, though, that 80s Toy Shop, bunch of loose figures along with the Guts Berserker Armor figure. What else do we get? Ravenswood with a bunch of comics. Dave's Hot Chicken with that Fallout collab meal and a little saucy stim pack thing. ESW's The Wrestlers, where I met Joey Janela and The Blade. And then finally, meeting up with my collector friend John Sig and grabbing that loose Bob Orton along with the Swerve action figure. Folks, quite the long video today. I know I said it'd be quick, but I will leave it there. As always, my name is Navigator. Have a nice day. Take care.